Time for actual shit science. It is hair analysis guy.
Step right up to the miracle station. We've got justice in a jar on sale.
Thank you, Your Honor. State calls Larry Peterson.
Could you get Larry Peterson? Thank you.
Yeah, there are way better third-party evidence here
Sir, if
than
you
in
would
the
raise your right
retrial.
hand, do you swear or affirm testimony you'll give to the jury today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you would, please state and spell your name for the record.
Larry Keith Peterson, Larry Keith Peterson.
And, sir, are you currently employed in a full-time capacity?
I am not. I'm retired.
All right. And when's the last time that you worked in a full-time capacity?
I was retired from the GBI Crime Laboratory in 2008. So I was employed there from 1978 to 2008. In 2008, I was employed by the U.S. Army Criminal Investigations Laboratory until I retired from there in 2017.
Okay. And going back to before your employment, what type of educational background do you have?
Yes, I have a Bachelor of Science in Forensic Science from the University of Central Florida.
And what was your first job after college?
Was employment at the GBI Crime Laboratory.
Okay. And so between the GBI and the United States Army, how long did you work in forensic sciences?
That would be almost 40 years.
Wow, 40 years as a hair analyst. A shit science.
And as it relates to, we talked about your educational background prior to starting work at the GBI, what type?
Hey, I've been looking at crystal balls for 40 years. Admitted as into evidence. Hey, I've been looking at bite marks for 40 years. Admitted into evidence. Hey, I've been looking at hair for 40 years. Admitted in... It's shit science. However you call it.
Type of training did you receive when you went to the GBI?
Right. So scientists at the GBI trained me in various aspects of trace evidence analysis. During my employment, there was also attendance to seminars and classes.
By the way, bite mark analysis is nowadays is thrown out of courts. Thrown out. Because it's really a shit science. This guy started in 1978. Bite mark analysis wasn't thrown out until the late 90s. So he probably worked with bite analysis for half of his career.
On the evaluation of trace evidence, including professional organizations and personal relationships with other scientists.
Do you have any professional affiliations from your time working in forensic sciences?
Yes, I was currently in emeritus status with the American Board of Criminalistics, also American status with the American Society of Trace Evidence Examiners. I'm a retired member of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences and retired past president of the Southern Association of Forensic Scientists.
And as it relates to the Southern Association of Forensic Scientists, did you ever serve as president of that organization?
Yes, I did.
All right. Have you ever had any publications regarding forensic sciences?
Yes, I've published several articles on trace analysis.
And have you ever been recognized for your work in forensic sciences with any types of awards?
Yes.
Your last title at the GBI or job responsibilities, what was that?
The title was a microanalyst, generally a person who's responsible for evaluating what's generally considered microscopic or very small amounts of material.
Okay. Did you have any leadership roles as it related to your time in the trace evidence section?
For approximately the last 9 years I was employed with the GBI, I was the...
That's 18 years ago. Folks, it doesn't matter what your expertise was 18 years ago. Unless you have continuous education in the field, worked in the field. If you have been fucking retired. Now, he said he worked additionally 9 years after 2008, so 2017. That's still 9 years missing. Folks, in my field, labor and employment law, if your experience is more than 5 years old, since last time, you don't have experience. Well, you had experience, but 5 years later, no. I will give an example. If you worked as a forklift driver 5 years ago, but haven't worked as a forklift driver for 5 years, you might still have the certification, but you're considered to not have experience as a forklift driver because you haven't worked for 5 years. And the field of science, criminal science, has evolved enormously the last 5 years alone. So if his last employment was 9 years ago, I don't regard him as an expert at all because his experience is too old.
I was the trace evidence, not supervisor, but I was supervising the competency technical.
Oh, okay. Why is hair analysis junk science? Let me explain. The hair on top of my head is thin and brittle. The hair on the back of my head, thick. Means, depending on where you collect hair on the head, it will show different characteristics. And same with supposed pubic hair. You have, at certain areas, it's thicker. At other areas, it's thinner. Same with beard. Certain areas, thicker. Other areas, thinner. Unless you know exactly where a hair came from, you have to collect the hair from that area in order to have a correct comparison of hair. Unless you perform a DNA test. But in this case, I don't think they did DNA test on the hair successfully. So unless you have DNA hair, all they have is a microscopic ocular comparison. And again, unless you know from what area the sample hair comes from, you can't compare it to hair collected from other parts of the head, genitalia, or otherwise. That is why hair analysis is a shit science. I hope that was a good enough explanation.
Leader of the section.
And you said supervising the competency as technical leader of this section. Can you elaborate a little bit on what that means?
Generally, it's the person who is responsible for reviewing and generating revised protocols and procedures, and also oversees proficiency testing.
Okay. And have you ever testified as an expert in any fields?
Yes, I've testified on over 400 trials in various aspects of trace evidence.
Okay. And as it relates to various aspects of trace evidence, have you testified as an expert in the field of human hair analysis?
Yes.
Okay. And have you testified in the states, in the courts of the state of Georgia?
Yes, state courts as well as federal and military as well.
And Your Honor, at this time, I would move to tender Mr. Peterson as an expert in human hair analysis.
All right, any objection from the defense?
No, ma'am.
This witness is qualified or tendered as an expert in human hair analysis. You may proceed.
Thank you.
Sadly, the defense have no choice because it's acknowledged as a proper science by American courts. For me, it's not even close. It is a shit science.
Step right up to the miracle station. We've got justice in a jar on sale.
Judge. Mr. Peterson, next, I would like to talk to you a little bit about human hair analysis, and I would like to start with the science behind human hair analysis. Do human hairs contain any unique or variable characteristics?
Right. So the science of comparing hair is that a recognition that hair contains several basic parts. So there's a cuticle outer structure of a hair. There is a basic protein, the main portion of the
Sir, if we took the remaining of the tuft on your head and compared it with the characteristics of the hair from your neck, would it show different characteristics?
hair called the cortex. Some hairs contain what's called the medullary structure or medulla, which is kind of an air-filled tubular structure that can appear down in the center of some people's hair. So based on, and the cortex of the hair contains the pigment granules, which gives the hair its color. So there's an evaluation microscopically of all of these features, both from a gross microscopic or a low power magnification view, as well as a detailed comparative, detailed microscopic comparison with a question and a known hair, in an attempt to determine if there's an association.
Known hair. So what they do here, and this is also why this is a shit science, they have the sample hair and the known hair. Hey, this is a hair from this guy. Not here you have 10 samples. Does any of these hairs compare to this one? Do they have the same characteristics? Do they have... No. Known hair. Known samples. That's not science. That's confirmation bias. In order to do a valid comparisons, you need blind testing. He just said they don't do blind testing. It's a shit science.
Between those two samples.
And so, as it relates to the variable characteristics that hairs can have, are there certain characteristics that have a lower rate of occurrence and will be more unique as opposed to other characteristics that have a higher rate of occurrence and less unique?
Right. So some hairs possess fewer characteristics than others just based on the amount of features that are available in the hair. For example, a very fine diameter blonde hair would have fewer characteristics to observe than a larger, more heavily pigmented hair.
Okay. And as it relates to hairs, an individual strand of hair, is that uniform from one side of the hair to the other side of the hair?
No. In the examination process, it's understood that the root end, or what we call the proximal end of the hair, would have different characteristics as you progress along the length of the hair towards the distal or upper end. It's just an progression over time.
So how do you know if you have a sample hair and then you have the hair from the body? How do you know from which part of the hair you got? You don't. It's a shit science.
How hair changes as it grows.
And now I want to shift with you to the process.
Mr. Hair Expert, can an illness change the characteristics of hair? Yes, it can. Can medication alter the characteristics of hair? Yes, it can. Can heavily shampooed hair, bleached hair, treatment of hair, does that change the characteristics of hair? Does highlights make that part of the hair slightly different from the non-highlighted hair? Of course it does. But you have hair from the victim and a sample, known sample from somebody. Does fire and heat change the characteristics of hair? Of course it does. But in his world, it's all the same. I have a hair and a known sample. All I have to do is make an ocular opinion regarding is it consistent with or not consistent with, which is also shit science.
Of conducting a hair analysis. Is there a scientifically accepted process for conducting that analysis?
Right. So as I described, so in the process of procedure, you would start with the mounting or the collection of the hair, whether it was submitted as a collected hair or it could have been submitted as an item of clothing or something else. And then hairs would be recovered in the laboratory. However that process happened, the hairs would be mounted on a glass microscope slide in a mounting media to allow for its closer examination, which would begin with the stereo or low power magnification, around 10 to 40 magnification. In that classification process, we can look at the overall length and color, the shape of the hair, give some idea of maybe some racial origin information, certainly body area origin as well, and can be the first step in the association or the elimination of a question hair from a known hair sample. So a question hair would be one.
Known hair sample, not blind test.
Of unknown origin. Is a hair recovered from a crime scene or something of unknown origin? And we would have known hairs, a collection of hairs that represent the known hair of a particular individual. That range of knowns would be fairly tight to one another, but even hairs collected from a single individual is not going to be identical to one another, but they're going to be very, very close in characteristics compared to.
What's very, very close? And compared to what? Here's an idea. Does family members have similar characteristics in hair? Mother-daughter, father-son, or vice versa? Of course, because it's shared DNA.
Known samples from other individuals. And so in the comparison process, it is if it's not eliminated at the stereo microscope, it's transferred to a comparison microscope, which is where light is transmitted through the hair samples on two microscopes. The two microscopes are hooked together with an optic bridge so that you can view the internal characteristics side by side. And at the end of that process, if following the examination of the hair from the entire length of the hair, if that question hair falls within the range of the known sample, we can conclude that that hair is associated with or could have originated from that person. If it fails in that examination at any stage, it would be eliminated as potentially originating from that person.
As it relates to this particular case and the murder of Miss Tara Baker, were you asked to conduct certain hair analyses as part of your work at the GBI in this case?
Yes, in 2001, I was employed by the GBI laboratory and performed examinations on the Tara Baker case.
And this is something about Georgia that I absolutely hate. He is the one who did the testing, so he's a fact witness. He's also the one who is validating his own procedure as an expert. He is bolstering himself as both a fact witness and an expert witness. And I hate it. No. At least bring in him as a fact witness from 2001. And at least then have a hair expert separately. But validating himself? Fuck no.
Okay. And so what I'm going to do at this time, Your Honor, I'll show Mr. Cruz what I'm going to hand to the witness, but I'm going to hand the witness some exhibits that have already been admitted into evidence.
Oh, any empty envelopes again?
And I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked you about the 3 envelopes. Do you recognize those bags, is what I'll refer to them as?
Yes, sir.
And how are you able to recognize them?
Well, each of these exhibits contains the laboratory unique case number, 2001-1002454, as well as my initials on each item.
Okay.
Yeah, but how do we know you put the correct hair in the correct envelope if you actually haven't sealed the older envelope with the new? Do we trust your word, hair guy? No.
And did those appear to be in substantially the same condition as when you received them from Athens Park County Police Department?
Yes, there may be some additional seals, but the container itself is the same.
Okay. All right. Now, going forward to the slides in that box in front of you, you had a chance to review those. Do you mind telling the jury what exhibit numbers you are looking at?
Well, I may not say these in order, but I will just go down through the list of the boxes. So I have States Exhibit 124, 122, 125, 114, 117, 118, 121, 123, 119, 120, 116, 115, as well as Defense Exhibit 31.
All right. Thank you, sir. And I think, did you previously testify that these include the slides that you conducted your analysis on?
Yes.
Okay. Did you generate any reports in association with the analyses that you conducted?
Yes. I produced several reports.
I'm going to hand you first what I've marked as States Exhibit 136 after I show it to Defense Counsel. And I'll actually go ahead and hand you States Exhibit 137 as well.
I wonder if the defense now is allowed to enter these reports as evidence.
States Exhibit 136 first. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes, so this is an official report issued by the laboratory that shows the results of my examinations.
And what date is that report from?
February 2nd of 2001.
And does it appear to be a true and accurate copy of your report associated with your analysis on that date?
Yes.
And Judge, I move to tender 136 at this time.
Any objection? It is admitted.
All right. So looking at 136, does it have certain numbers associated with items that you received?
That's correct. So when evidence is submitted to the laboratory, it's given an exhibit number in addition to a case number.
Okay. And so those numbers that we're about to refer to, those would be, by your terminology, an exhibit number. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Was there an exhibit number 2?
Exhibit 2 is a sexual assault kit, identified as that from Tara Baker.
And as it relates, was there an exhibit number 8?
Yes, exhibit 8 is identified as question hair recovered from the buttocks of the victim, Tara Baker.
And was there an exhibit number 9?
Number 9 was an item identified as question hair from the torso of the victim, Tara Baker.
And then where did exhibit number 10 come from?
10 is identified as question hair recovered from the left hand of Tara Baker.
It also, as part of this submission for your analysis, were you given known hair samples from any individuals?
Yes, that shows 5 known hair samples that were submitted on that same date.
And starting with exhibit 21, whose hair sample was that?
Known head hair of Chris Melton.
And exhibit number 22?
Known head hair of Christopher Hall.
And exhibit number 23?
Known hair of Jeff Hall.
And exhibit number 24?
Hair sample of Ashley Peavy.
And then exhibit number 25?
The hair sample of Valerie Lang.
Okay. And
I hate this known sample thing. It should be blind testing. Somebody at that lab should have had the job to anonymize the hair, label it correctly, put it in with 10 other similar, for instance, Caucasian blonde hair, Caucasian red hair, Caucasian whatever hair, have blind samples.
As part of that sexual assault sexual assault evidence collection kit of Miss Baker, would there have been known head hairs as part of that kit?
Yes.
Okay. So now we got the known head hairs of Tara Baker, Chris Melton, Christopher Hall, Jeff Hall, Ashley Peavy, and Valerie Lang. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then as far as hairs for which you are being asked to do a comparison analysis to see if there are any associations, you have a package identified as containing hair collected from the buttocks of the victim. You have a package containing hair collected from the torso of the victim. And then you have a package containing the hair from the left hand of the victim. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I want to start with the comparison between the known samples in Exhibits 2 and 21 through 25 against the hair collected in Exhibit 8 from the buttocks of Miss Baker. Did you perform an analysis related to that?
I did.
Okay. And what, if any, opinion do you have based upon your findings as it relates to Exhibit 8?
Exhibit 8 revealed that there was one head hair microscopically consistent with the known hair of the victim, Tara Baker. There were 2 hairs inconsistent with the known hair of Ms. Tara Baker, and subsequent comparison showed that they were consistent with the known hair of Ashley Peavy.
And so let's talk about
What the fuck was Ashley Peavy's head hair doing on the, I mean, yeah, sure, they shared living space. Here's an interesting fact. The fire person smelled shampoo on the victim. So, how, if she showered that morning, was attacked, how did that hair end up there? Of course, could be transfer from, because they shared some living space, but still.
consistent with the known hairs of an individual. What does that mean?
It means basically that they had a correspondence in their microscopic characteristics that in comparing the question hair to the known hair, they possessed sufficient similar characteristics to they could be included as a possible donor of the hair, that either would be from that person or another person possessing hair with the same characteristics.
Okay. And so as it relates then to Exhibit 8, and please correct me if I misstate anything about your findings, of the 3 hairs that were of a quality that could be analyzed, 1 was consistent with Miss Baker and 2 were consistent with Miss Peavy. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I want to go forward to Exhibit 9, which is collected from the torso of the victim. As it relates to your analysis on Exhibit 9, what opinion were you able to develop based on your analysis?
Exhibit 9 indicates that there were numerous head hairs consistent with the known hair of Tara Baker, the victim. 1 head hair inconsistent with the known head hair of the victim. And then further microscopic examination of that particular hair against the known hair of Valerie Lang showed them to be consistent.
So the hairs that were analyzed there were some that were consistent with Miss Baker, the victim, and then the one that was not consistent with Miss Baker was consistent with Miss Lang. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so as it relates to the hairs that were found to be consistent with Miss Hall and Miss Lang that were recovered from Miss Baker's body, those were also compared against Mr. Melton, weren't they?
Yes.
Okay. And what was your finding regarding those hairs as it related to Mr. Melton?
Well, the hair was eliminated as potentially originating from him.
Okay. So as it relates to items 8 and 9, those hairs could not have come from Mr. Melton. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And now I want to get to Exhibit 10, which is the hair from the left hand of Miss Baker. based on your analysis of that hair, what opinion did you form regarding that hair?
The hairs identified from the left hand of Tara Baker, there were several head hairs and one pubic hair, all of which had the similar
Why are there several hair in item 10? Why is there several? Every other. Now, item 10, multiple hairs, should have been in separate envelopes, all labeled left hand. Instead, they put it all in the same fucking envelope with the possibility of cross-contamination. Motherfucker.
characteristics as Miss Baker's own hair.
So they were consistent with Miss Baker's hair, is that correct?
Correct.
And so that head hair, or I'm sorry, not head hair, that hair that was recovered from Miss Baker's left hand, was it compared with Mr. Melton as well?
Well, the head hair would have, yes.
Yes. And
They only compared the head hair and nothing else. Not the pubic hair or whatever other hair. Only the head hair. Why the fuck could you not compare pubic? This is so stupid.
so that head hair that was compared with Mr. Melton, what opinion did you form as to whether or not that head hair could have come from Mr. Melton?
He was eliminated.
Okay. And what does eliminated mean?
Did not have corresponding microscopic characteristics.
Okay. As it relates, sir, to Exhibit 137, states 137, do you mind telling me what that is?
Again, this is an official report which I produced under the same case number 2001-1002454, the case number for Tara Baker, issued on February 27th of 2001.
And is that appear to be a fair and accurate copy of the report that you generated based on your analysis on that date?
It is.
Judge, I move to tender states 137 at this time.
Any objection? It is admitted.
And as it relates to states Exhibit 137, Mr. Peterson, it makes reference to Exhibit 2 again. Is that correct?
It does, yes.
Okay. And Exhibit 2 is the sealed sexual assault evidence collection kit of Miss Baker. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And in there, it has listed in Exhibit 12. What is that?
Exhibit 12 is identified as there's a power transformer.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to process that item for any kind of trace evidence?
Yes, hairs were recovered from that item.
All right. And so this power transformer, the hair that you analyzed that was recovered from that, what, if any, opinion did you form?
There were several hairs that were unsuitable for comparison. They did not possess enough characteristics to produce a meaningful comparison. In addition, there was one head hair which was suitable for comparison.
How fucking convenient. Here's the thing. According to who? To you? You decided they were not suitable. Why? What was the process? Could those have been sent off to another shit science lab?
And additional examination comparison of that hair showed it to be consistent with the known hair of Chris Melton.
Okay. And so that's a separate thing than anything that was found on Miss Baker's body, though. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
All right. I want to go.
Oh, that's the hair in the purse. or wallet or whatever's, wasn't it? Well, we found out during
Go back now
cross-examination.
to exhibit number 10 in the hair that was in Miss Baker's hand that was consistent with her and eliminated Chris Melton. Have you had other occasions where you have examined hair that's been found in the hands of a homicide victim?
Yes, I have examined a number of cases, a large number of cases where hairs were recovered from the victim's hands. And the vast majority of time, the hairs were always consistent with the victim's own hair.
Okay. So this finding wasn't an unusual finding then, is that fair to say?
It was not.
Okay. If I could have just a moment, Your Honor.
Yeah. Karate Cat Mom. I'm sorry, except for someone having seen him walking around, the testimony from the witnesses is they saw black man or even black men, because different witnesses saw on different times. 8 a.m., 8:15 a.m. Claims to have seen black man two saw black man in bright orange shirt. One saw black man in bright orange jacket. You know what that tells me? There's a construction site somewhere. And we know there's a Walmart on the other side. It's workers going to buy stuff. And they took a shortcut. That is what that tells me. And it also tells me in this predominantly white area, that stands out. Black man on our sidewalk. Oh, and yeah, and of course you have that one witness that the prosecution doesn't care about, who saw a white guy running from the area.
Mr. Peterson, thank you very much. I don't have any other questions for you, sir. I'm sure Mr. Cruz will have some.
Mr. Cruz, cross-examination.
Mr. Peterson, thank you so much for your time. The state asked you about the power transformer and the hair found on the power transformer. Do you remember that?
The notes reflect that it happened. This case happened a long time ago.
Correct. My question is, do you recall the state asking you about a power transformer and hair found on the power transformer?
Well, I mean, we just discussed it. Yeah,
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. You don't know where that power transformer was located in relation to Ms. Baker's body, do you?
No, I do not.
I'd like to go over some of the hairs and the examinations you conducted. Is that okay?
Okay.
And I'd like to establish something first. So would you agree that Caucasian hair is different from African-American hair?
I would agree.
Okay. And would you agree that based on your profession and expertise, Caucasian hair is easily distinguishable from African-American hair? Is that fair?
The vast majority of times, yes.
You examined a hair from the buttocks of Miss Baker. Do you recall discussing that?
Yes,
That hair was not consistent with African-American hair. Is that correct?
that's correct.
You examined the hair from the torso of Miss Baker. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That hair was also not consistent with African-American hair. Is that correct?
That is correct.
You examined hair from Miss Baker's left hand as well. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you would agree that hair was also not consistent with African-American hair. Is that correct?
I agree.
So you have, according to the state, this African-American man who definitely did it, according to the state, who did this violent beating, strangling with an electrical cord, rape, arson, robbery, breaking and entering, but there's only liquid DNA inside the victim, which could have been ejected there within a 3 to 5 day span before the murder. The prosecution is trying to tell us that he left no traces whatsoever. There's not even in the victim's wounds, there is a transfer of DNA. Did they even check? Did they even swab the victim for what DNA was present on her, only in her? I haven't heard thus far in this trial, at least, about DNA samples from the injury areas, because she was brutally beaten, strangled. Did they check the electrical cord? Why are there no DNA samples presented in court or in the opening statements of the swabs that should have been taken from the wounds? Nothing.
We discussed the power transformer, but you examined hair from the power transformer. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and the hair on the power transformer was also not consistent with African American hair. Is that right?
That's correct.
And I believe you testified that the hair found on the power transformer was consistent with Chris Melton's head hair. Is that right?
That's correct.
You even examined the hair found on Ms. Baker's wallet. Do you recall that?
There was a hair identified from the victim's purse, I believe.
From her purse?
Identified as a purse.
Okay. And that was a pubic hair. Is that right?
No, I believe that was a head hair.
Your Honor, I would move to introduce Mr. Peterson's.
Should be, would you, looking at your report, refresh your recollection?
Of course, indulgence.
And, Your Honor, I would have an objection. I don't believe that the items that Mr. Cruz is asking this witness about have been tendered into evidence by either party. So I think that would be required prior to questioning the witness about the items.
Go ahead, sir. Yes.
Well, I disagree with that, Your Honor. I asked him a question about testing that he's conducted. The testing is within this witness's personal knowledge. He has gave a statement that is inconsistent with the report that he's written, and I'm introducing this report as a prior inconsistent statement.
Let me see counsel at the bench for a minute, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to listen forward, because earlier I was kind of wrong with, I made a bad assumption. Skipping ahead.
On the record in 40 minutes. And please don't discuss the case. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, skipping ahead.
Yeah. Document to examine this witness under 24-6-613. The state asked, pursuant to that statute, certainly, to get a copy of what you were using. And then the state made an argument pursuant to 603. I'm sorry, to 403. And so because of the state's argument about 403, the balancing test, I wanted to go through this moment outside the presence of the jury before I make a ruling. And so, Mr. Cruz, I'm going to let you examine this witness with that moment. And the law requires that you allow the witness to, I'll just use this language of the statute. The witness is first afforded an opportunity to explain or deny the prior inconsistent statement, and the opposite party is afforded an opportunity to interrogate the witness on the prior inconsistent statement or the interest of justice otherwise required. So before I get to that portion of the statute, I want to hear what we're talking about, because the state has made a 403 objection. So you may proceed, Mr. Cruz.
Just don't proceed with
With the question you were going to ask him. He answered a question, and you wanted to attempt to impeach him with a prior inconsistent statement. The state objected based on 403 grounds, and so that's why I'm conducting this hearing outside the presence of the jury.
Excellent. So just to let you know the process that was taking place when the objection was lodged, I was about to mark this as defense exhibit, I believe, 32.
You asked if I have a defense exhibit 32?
Oh, no, sir. I was asking.
Not yet.
I'm sorry.
Not yet.
Okay. So I was going to mark this as defense exhibit 32.
Okay.
And my next question to him after I marked this as defense exhibit 32 was going to be in your March 19, 2001.
Well, actually, before we even get to that, Mr. Cruz, you may not need to get to that moment. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask counsel. Now that you're going to mark it as an exhibit, kind of takes a different turn.
That's where the objection came.
Okay. So, well, It did, because you weren't tendering it, and you don't necessarily have to when you're dealing with a prior inconsistent statement.
I actually was going to admit the prior inconsistent statement into
Okay.
evidence, but I typically mark it for purposes of the record.
Okay, well, that's fine. All right, well, let me ask this question of the state first. Based on that he is going to offer it into evidence, do you have any objection? Do you have any objection to that? I mean, based on the conversation counsel had with the court at the bench, the reason I'm doing this outside the presence of the jury is because of the 403 argument. So is there any objection to the tendering of that document? Is there going to be?
I'm sorry, Judge.
Is there going to be any objection to the tendering of that document?
I think that there would be, as it relates to examination regarding a hair found in a wallet. And the reason is, Judge, and I would, if the court allows me under 24-1-104, I think this would be a matter of a preliminary question. And I can state in my place that pursuant to documents that are in discovery and produced to Mr. Cruz, this item actually didn't come into, the item was not believed to contain any hair at the time of the initial processing of the crime scene. It was returned to the Baker family, who then, over 2 weeks later, on February 8th of 2001, brought the wallet back to Athens Clarke County Police Department and relinquished custody to the Athens Clarke County Police Department. And then subsequently, in a transcript of an interview between ACCPD and the Baker family in May, Miss Baker's father, Mr. Lindsay Baker, stepfather, but the person she considered to be her father, Mr. Lindsay Baker, indicated to police that we found a hair in that wallet. What have y'all done with it? And so I imagine.
So your retarded investigators missed hair. That in itself should make this entered into evidence as a shit investigation. If they missed that, what else did they miss? Well, we know what else they missed. Every fucking thing. Jesus.
Imagine what Mr. Cruz is going to question the witness about is whether or not that hair was tested. And so I guess our objection under 403, or our objection pursuant to 24-1-104 is there's been a lot of discussion about chain of custody as it relates. Now, in this particular case, circumstance, I think.
You got empty envelopes admitted, and now you're whining about chain of custody? When you yourself got things admitted despite lack of chain of custody, but now you're saying lack of chain of custody should make this inadmissible? Fuck twat.
I think there is a legitimate concern about chain of custody and the manner in which it came into the possession of law enforcement and the GBI, which is why additional testing was not done. If testing had been done, it still probably wouldn't be admissible in a legal proceeding due to the fact that it came from a wallet that had left the crime scene and been in the possession of other parties for a fairly extended period of time. We're not talking about an hour or something like that. So.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Is the claim from the state that the family planted that hair from Mr. Milton?
Thank you. Mr. Cruz, do you want to respond to that? And then I'll let you ask the question. I may have some questions for you. Do you want to respond to that?
I just want to make sure I understand the objection was to 403, but also chain of custody. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, I'm not going to put words in Mr. Yelman-Chili's mouth. I can tell you what the court thinks it is, but go ahead.
Foundation for admissibility of the evidence that he is questioning the witness about. I think if we are going to talk about evidence, it needs to be present and tendered in the courtroom. Now, it could be that Mr. Cruz goes through the process of tendering that evidence in some manner. It just hasn't been done yet. So, I mean, I guess my objection's on a couple of different grounds.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I understand foundation is a ground, chain of custody is a ground, and 403 is a ground. If I could ask clarification from the Honorable Court or Mr. Yalama-Chili, as far as 403, what particular ground do I need to address?
You can ask the state.
Well, Your Honor, when we were at the bench, I think my original objection was actually to the predicate requirements of a prior inconsistent statement not having been met, because I think Mr. Peterson testified that he believed that it had come from a purse, and Mr. Cruz had indicated it had come from a wallet. And we stated at the bench, so it was our belief and our understanding of the evidence, it actually came from a wallet that was inside of a purse, so it wasn't necessarily something inconsistent with Mr. Peterson's testimony.
All right. So in regards to the foundation of the prior inconsistent statement, Mr. Peterson, I asked him, was it a pubic hair? He said it was a head hair. I asked him, was it on a wallet? He said it was in a purse. It's semantics, but my particular question asked about a wallet. His report references a wallet. It's not reference a purse. So the foundation has been laid for a prior inconsistent statement. He was confronted with the statement. Well, was about to mark the exhibit to confront him with the statement before the objection came about. But once I've given him an opportunity once I've confronted him with that statement, if he says no, it's still a head hair, or no, it was in a purse, at that time I would tender this into evidence as impeachment material. In regards to the chain of custody, this isn't a chain of custody issue. Chain of custody applies to fungible evidence, not to documents. So chain of custody would not apply in this situation. In regards to the state's argument, as far as I need to tender the hair in order to impeach Dr. Peterson, in regards to the hair, there is no case, no law that exists that would support that proposition anywhere, probably in the United States. And lastly, in regards to 403, Your Honor, I still wasn't 100% clear on the exact ground of 403. So I would ask for the the specific grounds for 403.
Confusion of the issues and misleading the jury.
Okay. In regards to confusion of the issues in this case are whether or not Mr. Faust committed this crime. This evidence is evidence either in support of Mr. Faust committing the crime or evidence that goes against Mr. Faust committing the crime. The anticipated testimony from Mr. Peterson's report is that the hair that was on the wallet was a pubic hair, and it was of Caucasian origin, or the way I asked the question, it was not a African American hair. I had no intentions to ask about testing the hair. I now do, but it's relevant. It won't confuse the issue because it goes directly in line with our theory that Mr. Faust was never in Ms. Baker's home. And this testimony supports that materially, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, let me ask you this question. Well, first, I'm going to let you ask him about a prior inconsistent statement and give him the chance to respond. And then I want to talk to counsel about something else.
Sure.
So you may go, because I don't agree that you've established that you have the right to present evidence about a prior inconsistent statement yet.
They disagreed on two things. Was it a head hair or a pubic hair on the wallet? Was it a wallet or a purse? They are fundamentally different. And if his report says pubic hair in wallet, but on the stand he says head hair in purse, how the fuck is that not inconsistent? That needs clarification.
So if you believe that's going to be the case, I'm going to let you try that.
Sure. May I mark the exhibit, Your Honor?
You can for this particular purpose, but we're having a hearing outside the presence of the jury.
Sure.
So just go ahead and ask him the questions you were going to.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Peterson. You obviously know where I'm going with this line of questioning, but you examined the hair found on Ms. Baker's wallet. Is that correct?
Yes, I had earlier said purse, just from my recollection, but by looking at the report, it does reflect hair from a wallet.
Okay. And would you agree that it's also pubic hair?
No.
Okay. Mr. Peterson, in your report dated March 19th, 2001, did you state, for some diligence, I'm mistaken. You are correct. You are correct.
Yeah, this is a mistake from the defense claiming pubic hair when it was a head hair. But yeah, it's still inconsistent. And he acknowledged, yeah, you're right.
Right. Okay. So we are clear on the wallet portion, and I was incorrect as far as the pubic hair. Please forgive me.
All right, thank you. So let me just respond then to, well, before I respond, unless Mr. Yalamanchili, since it's your motion, do you have anything else you want to say about your argument about this information under 403?
No, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Cruz, do you want to respond to their argument about this evidence being violative of 403?
The proffer that I gave to the court, I would stand by that.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So both parties have given a proffer about what this line of questioning is about. And I will say this. I agree with the state that this is violative of 403
Yes, ma'am.
because of the proffer that the state has made about the circumstances surrounding the testing of this purse wallet several weeks later under the circumstances that they have described is a moment, I would say, of profound confusion, possibilities for the jury. And so I'm
Profound? Profound? The family found hair in the wallet too, brought it back 2 weeks later. Did you test that? Yes. Was it African American? No. Done. How the fuck is that confusing? How the fuck is that confusing?
going to grant the state's motion with regard to the concern about 403, and I'm going to instruct you not to go into that area of questioning with regard to the testing of this purse, wallet, this line of questioning. I'm going to instruct you not to go down that line of questioning.
So don't touch on the wallet to make sure.
That's correct.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to bring the jury in because I want everybody to be mindful. It is 1:20, and we are supposed to be ending at 2:30 today. As best we can, there's a juror that's going out of town. This may be our last witness, so I just want everybody to remember, we're running behind. It's 1:20. So, all right, anything else? You ready for the jury to come back in this case?
Ma'am.
All right, state ready.
Yes, Judge.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson, you would agree that there was pubic hair found in Ms. Baker's left hand?
Correct.
And that pubic hair was tested against the known sample of Mr. Melton's head hair. Is that correct?
They would only be compared against pubic hair.
So it's compared against Mr. Melton's pubic hair?
Yes.
No. No, it wasn't.
I believe that's correct.
According to everything you counted out as samples, you didn't have a sample of Mr. Milton's pubic hair.
All right, in your report, did you write microscopical examination and comparison of the question hair removed from items? Let me ask you this before I even ask you that sentence. Item 10, we can agree, is the hair from Ms. Baker's left hand.
That's correct.
Okay. And in your report, you wrote microscopical examination and comparison of the question hair removed from item 10 with the known head hair of item 21, 22, and 23 reveals they have dissimilar microscopic characteristics and therefore could not have originated from the same source. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. And item 21 is listed as the head hair of Chris Melton. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I believe on direct your testimony was that hairs that grow in different areas have different characteristics. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you show me the report where you tested item number 10 against Chris Melton's pubic hair?
Don't believe that's in the February 2nd report. I think that's in a subsequent report.
Sure. Can you show me?
I wish you would show me.
And was seeing all of your reports refresh your recollection?
Well, I have two reports, States Exhibits 136 and 137.
Well, Mr. Peterson, you just asked me you wish that I would show you. I'm willing to show you. Would reviewing your reports refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to show you or let the record reflect that I'm showing you your report from March 19th, 2001, May 16th, 2001, October 11th, 2001, February 2nd, 2001, February 27th, 2001, and that's two separate reports, and March 19th, 2001. If you'll take a look at these documents to refresh your recollection and let us know once your recollection is refreshed. May I approach?
All right.
Confusion to make the and just so there isn't any confusion, to make the record clear, I am asking about the pubic hair found in her left hand being tested against Mr. Melton's pubic hair.
Well, if that hair from the hand, which was eliminated microscopically at the victim's own hair, if there had been another pubic hair sample submitted, then it would have been identified as also being consistent.
The answer to my question, my question is, was the pubic hair found in Ms. Baker's left hand tested against Chris Melton's pubic hair?
Well, the characteristics of his hair are dissimilar than those of Tara Baker's hair.
Please.
Are you asking me that there should have been a recorded statement saying that the hair was eliminated, as opposed to my testimony today that it is not similar to Tara Baker's pubic hair and therefore could not have been his?
The question I'm asking is whether the pubic hair found in Ms. Baker's left hand was tested against Mr. Melton's pubic hair. And if you can, yes or no?
It was not similar to the pubic hair from her left hand.
That doesn't answer my question is, and maybe I'm saying that wrong. Please forgive me. And if you can answer yes or no for me, please do so. You had Mr. Melton's pubic hair. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And pubic hair was found in Ms. Baker's left hand. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Was that pubic hair of Mr. Melton's ever tested to see if it was the pubic hair in Ms. Baker's left hand?
It was indirectly eliminated because a comparison of the knowns also took place to know what their characteristics are, and they were not found to be similar, so it could not have been consistent with the hair from the left hand.
Is that a no?
Sorry?
Is that a no? Is the answer to my question a no?
The comparison does not have to be a direct comparison. The characteristics of the two known samples are not the same, so they both can't be consistent with a hair that's only consistent with hers from the left hand.
And I thank you for that information. That is great information. But I'm asking you a specific question. To my question, is that a yes or a no? Was it tested?
Yes.
Can you show us the report?
No.
Okay. No more questions, Your Honor.
Yeah. The expert is saying, well, my ocular examination of the pubic hair said it was similar to her own. Yeah, but that's not exclusive. Because you never tested it against anything fucking else, you retard. And the question was very simple. Did you test Mr. Milton's pubic hair against the pubic hair found in her left hand? The answer to that is no. I don't fucking care if it's an indirect result because you believe that your superior mind conclusively said, oh, it's the victims. No, you didn't conclusively say it. It had the same characteristics. Here's the thing with characteristics. It means fucking nothing. It's a buzzword. So he lied on the stand while saying, did you test the hair? Yes, he did. Is it in the report? No, it isn't, because he didn't test. And above all of this, none of it was African American.
Any redirect, Mr. Allen-Chile?
No, Judge.
All right, may this witness...
Smart move from the prosecution. Smart move. Because you don't want this jackass witness who has his latest experience is 9 fucking years old to say something impeachable again. So that was smart from the prosecution.
The excused.
Yes, we ask that he is.
Any objection from the defense?
No, ma'am.
You are free to go, sir. You may call your next witness.
Your Honor.
And this is smart from the defense. If the defense have their own witness regarding hair analysis, the prosecution can't call the same witness. He's off. Off he fucks.
We approach.
You may. We have an hour. Yes, sir.
And I don't believe the state has anything else. Nope. Let's skip ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, we have finished early today. So, particularly the person going out of town, yay. All right, so I'm going to release all of you today, obviously at 1:30, and ask you to return again on Monday at 9 o'clock. Obviously, in the meantime, my instructions continue to apply. Please don't discuss the case with anyone. Don't do any independent research. Don't look on social media with regard to this case, if it is on there, or the news, if it is on there. All the things that we've discussed. Does anybody have any questions for the court? Don't go to any locations that have been discussed, of course, by any testimony. Anybody have any questions for the court before I release all of you? I appreciate your patience this week. It has been a productive week in terms of a lot of things we've gotten through. I appreciate your patience. I know you go in and out of the jury room a lot. That's certainly common in a trial, but I know that it is sometimes.
No, it isn't. It might be common in your courtroom because you're a shit judge who can't for the life of you do stuff pre-trial, make determination pre-trial. Did you know that we are on day 5? Day 5 is concluded, and the defense have outstanding motions still that this judge haven't made rulings on from pre-trial. How is the defense supposed to prepare when the judge places handcuffs on them by refusing to make rulings on motions and allowing the prosecution to show up with doorstep evidence, allowing in empty envelopes? It's a shit trial with shit evidence and shit witnesses and shit experts.